开始的开始，我们都是孩子，最后的最后，渴望变成天使。Hello folks, today we're gonna go over the Section 85 on the Canadian Income Tax Act. So what is Section 85? I will show you in an example. Please wait for a moment. Thank you. So let's say Joyce owns 100% of the OpCo, which is a firm. At the same time, Joyce owns the land with a fair market value of 500,000. The cost of that land equals to 100,000. So right now, the Joyce wants to transfer the land to the corporation, and under Section 85, when he transfers the land, a company property to the corporation, he needs to have something back, which can be share or non-share, and we also need to do a template for this. Here we go. So we have the asset, which is the land. We have the tax cost. So tax cost can be the UCC or the ACB of the property. In this case, we have $100,000 as a tax cost. Fair market value 100,000. And now we have this EA. EA is not the gaming company. EA, it is the elected amount. So the amount we elected. In this case, we elect 100K, which is same as the tax cost. And here we have the boot. What is boot? Boot is the non-share consideration. So when you give the property to the company, you will receive something back. And if this is not a share, it will be like cash or a note, something like that. Then it will be considered as a boot, which stands for non-share consideration. And here we can say the boot is 0. And because we receive 0 non-share consideration, we also have to receive the share consideration of $500,000. Look, this share $500,000 matches to the fair market value of the land. So that's what we want to make sure. The boot plus the share needs to equal to the fair market value of the property transferred. Alright, so in this scenario 1, we have this. So for the share, right, it's ACB. I'm talking about the ACB, the cost for the share will equal to 100K, same as the tax cost of the land. We have the fair market value of 500K. The PUC, which is a paid up capital, equals to the 100K as well. However, we could have a different number here. So remember, this tax cost will always be the same, fair market value will always be the same, but the elected amount, we could elect anything from the tax cost to up to the fair market value. So here we just say we elect 200K, which is above the tax cost, but it's still below the fair market value, which is okay. And now we have the boot. We say with 0, and here is the same thing, 100K. So in this scenario 2, right, for the share, we have the cost of the share ACB equal to 200K, right? And we have the PAC equal to 200K as well, and fair market value of 500K. Scenario 3, same thing, tax cost and the fair market value never changes. But here we say, let's elect 100K for the transfer again. However, let's say we have the boot of 100K. So this boot can be a cash, right? Like we receive 100K cash through this transfer. So because we received 100K cash, the fair market value of the share will only be 400K. So for the scenario 3, the share we received equal to the ACB of the share, which would be the elected amount minus boot, which is 100K minus 100K equal to 0. The PAC of the share also equal to 0, right? So the fair market of the share, of course here we have 400K, and the boot equal to 100K. So important formula here, the ACB of the share equal to the elected amount minus the boot, which makes sense, I think. Yeah, if you do all the elected amount minus boot, you will get 100K for this, 200K for this, and 0 for this scenario. Okay, so that's what we are talking about. So section 85 really, it basically means you transfer property to the corporation. And some people may ask why we are doing that. Well, because if we do it this way, you essentially don't have to pay tax for while you are transferring. Otherwise, when you transfer something, it's being disposed at fair market value on the 90% of the. Oh shit. So in most cases, when you transfer something, it will be deemed disposed at the fair market value. And you have the tax implication, right? Because the fair market value is this is the cost, right? So you have these issues. And when you do section 85 rollover, you basically don't have to pay. Well, you have to pay, but you basically defer, right? Like in exchange, you got a share. So unless you sell the share, otherwise you won't have the tax implication. So under scenario 2, not only we have a land, we also have a building. So remember, land is a non-depreciable property, so there's no UCC, you can't claim CCA on land. But we also have buildings here, which have the fair market value of 200K, ACB of 130K, right? And the UCC on the depreciated cost, which is 60K. And we have non-capital loss carry forward from previous year of 20K. Okay, here we also do the template as we did in the last example. We have asset, land, building, tax cost. It doesn't change, right? 100K here, and 60K here. Remember, when we say the tax cost, it can be UCC, it can be ACB, right? So it really depends on the questions. Fair market value of 500K and 200K. Yep, 200K for the fair market value here, and we have elected amount here. We can do this 140K, which is okay, and we do 60K here, and we have the put non-share considerations. So the put we said is same as the elected amount. So what is share? We have put 140, right? Fair market value of 500K. So the share is the difference between the two, which is the 360K. The put here we also say is same as the elected amount, so we get 140K. Right? So remember the ACB of the share, right? ACB for this share equal to another, which is equal to the park, because basically this is like a new class of share issued specifically for the transfer of land, and in this case it is the theirs, right? Because we have the elected amount minus put, which equal to 0. And in this case, for the building, elected amount minus put, which also equal to 0. Right? And park is there as well. And so you may ask why we're doing it, right? Why we're doing this? So because we have this non-capital loss carry forward, right, which we really want to use. So when we elect this 140K, right, and our cost is 100K, so we elect at 140, our cost 100K. What's our capital gain? Capital gain is 40K. So the taxable capital gain equal to 40 times 50% equal to 20, which use up our this is net capital loss carry forward of 20K. That's the reason why we elect 140K. So why we elect boot same as the EA? If we elect boots, let's say we elect 160K boot, which is higher than the elected amount, which will be problematic because the excess of that 20K, right, will be considered as being dividend. Dividend is 100% taxable, so we don't want that. That's why we say boot equal to elected amount. And another thing is that we want boot to equal to elected amount. Another reason is the park here, right? If we have park, so in this case, in this scenario, because we have EA minus boot, they're equal to 0, so we don't have park. So if we have park, let's say the boot is smaller than the EA, the problem with that is we will have the park, and the park is very hard to take it out. It needs many steps. It requires lawyers. You have to set up board meetings, stuff like that, which is not always ideal and not very time efficient, and it costs a lot of money to do that. And so the important takeaway is that in this case we do the elect amount higher than the tax cost to create a capital gain, to utilize the net capital loss carry forward. And we said that EA equal to the boot, or the boot equal to the EA, because we don't want to have park, we want park to be 0. And we have another scenario which is slightly more confusing, right? So same thing, we have a person Joyce who owns 100% of Opco and a land with fair market value of 100K, HB of 100K. And in this case, Joyce will have a mortgage of 60K on the land and net capital loss carry forward of 20K. So we do the template, land, tax cost, 100K, 100K, real market value, 500K. Okay, sorry, I messed up a little bit. I tried to show you like two alternative ways. So just focus on the first line, please. And so here we have elected amount of 140K, right? Remember why we do 140K here? Anyone? Yeah, we have this loss of 20K. That's why we need to create 40K gain, and the taxable capital gain is 50% of the capital gain. So that's we'll use up the loss carry forward. So in this case, what is a boot? What is boot? Well, we have this loan, right? Like the loan on the mortgage on the land of 60K. So we could potentially just give like Joyce 60K, and what's the share? Share is the difference between this and this, which equal to 40K. And in this scenario, because the boot does not equal to the elected amount, our park equal to EA, elected amount, minus boot, which equal to 140K minus 60K, and we have 80K. So that's our park. And a different way to do this is, okay, this doesn't change. Elected amount doesn't change because we want to use up the lost. But here the boot we say is equal to the elected amount. So the share here is 360, the difference between this and this. In this case, the park equal EA minus boot, which equal to 140K minus 140K equal to 0. Right? So what is the implication of this? So in here we have boot, right, which is the non-share consideration given to Joyce. And this represents mortgage of 60K and a shareholder loan of 80K. So after the transfer, Joyce will own share, will own this shareholder loans, which makes sense. And the mortgage is gone. Yeah. And for the corporation, after the transfer, the corporation, right? After the transfer, the corporation will own land with ACB of 140K because we elect at 140K, right? And the fair market value of 100K. So we essentially defer the capital gain on the land through the transfer. So until the corporation sells land, nobody needs to pay the tax on that. And and the tax for corporation lower because the cost base is higher. It's 140K instead of 100K. but corporation owes Joyous 80K and owes mortgage 60K. And for Joyce, after the transfer, he owes this shareholder loan. It's like he has it, right? Like of 80K. Same, so ACB and the fair market value of this shareholder loan is 80K, and share with fair market value of 360K. So we are talking about the second scenario here. We don't have PUC. We have this fair market value of 360K. Yeah, so that's what he owns. And yeah, that's it. And lastly, we need to do a more comprehensive example. And usually you will see this in practice. So let's do it. We have cash. Is the cost. It's the values. 30K. We have accounts receivable. 55K less allowance for for account. The amount that we deem not collectible, and the net of accounts receivable is 50K. We have inventories of 100K. We have prepaid rent of 10K. We have land 50K. We have buildings. Okay, so here is a little bit confusing here, because I will say here I will put the UCC of the building at 110K. Remember, this is a UCC, and the cost, so how much we paid for this building, the cost is 150K. We have equipment with UCC of 40K. And the same here, the cost is 70K. We have goodwill. We have no cost because it internally generated asset, right? And we have fair market value. So the cash is same 20K, and account receivable, the net fair market value of account receivable is 49K. Inventory same 100K. Prepaid rent same 110K. Here land is 70K. 140K for the building. 35K for the equipment, which is very usual because equipment usually phase out pretty fast. And so we need to do a section 85 here, right? But however, remember, so for cash we don't do anything here. And for AI, we do the section 22. So first, add back account allowance for account So that would be 50K minus 5K, 55K. Second, we have fair market value equals to 49K. We have business loss of 60K, right? 55 and 59. Because the fair market value is smaller, right, than the book value. So we have 6K business loss. Okay, inventory, no section 85. Well, it's current asset, not a capital asset. So same as the prepaid rent, we don't do anything. So for the rest, we have to do the big template here. Asset, tax cost, fair market value, elected amount, brute, share, and the net income. The asset here we have land, building, goodwill, right? So the tax cost for the land is 50K, fair market value is 70K, right? So the elected amount, we do 50K same as the cost, and we have the brute, which are brute equal to the elected amount of 50K. And so the difference between this and that is 20K, right? Income effect 0. The tax cost for the building, we pay for 1 and 10K. Sorry, no, that's the UCC of the building is 110, but the UCC is also a tax cost, so we use the lowest, which is 110, and the fair market value is 140K, and the elected amount is 110, same as the tax cost here, and we have brute of 110, same as the elected amount, so we don't have PAG. So here the share city plus 110 equals 140. Yeah, we don't have any incomes. So for the goodwill, the cost is 0 because it is internally generated. The fair market value is 50K because that's what the market thinks, right? And the elect amount is 1. So we have to make this election because otherwise it doesn't work. Like $1 is the minimum amount we have to elect, and so for the brute, we just say 0, and share, where is that? Yes. Well, yeah, technically the brute should be also $1, but it's insignificant or immaterial, so we just ignore it. So we have 50K. And yeah, we have this $0.5 taxable capital gain. Yeah, we still have this taxable capital gain. Oh, for the equipment, right? For the equipment, we also don't do section 85 because there's a terminal loss. Why is the terminal loss? Look, the cost 70K, right? The UCC is 40K. The fair market value is only $35,000. Yeah, so we have a terminal loss here. So if we have terminal loss or we have capital loss, those are denied under section 85, so we should not do the rollover for those because we will lose the terminal loss. And what's the way to do it? We just need to keep it, and if the corporate needs it, we can rent it to the corporation. Yeah, so here is the section 85.